Sorry for the confusion. There are some topics that are difficult to talk about. No matter how you try to explain these topics, no matter how hard you work to make them easy to understand, someone is going to be confused, offended, violently outraged, or intentionally obtuse. This is unfortunate, as these attempts to explain things are really for the public good. Recently, while trying to explain why, as a matter of public policy, tea is a bad idea, all of these reactions occurred. The problem appears to be related to confusion over the law and its definitions. While we've directed the public to primary references in this area, television, what you read in forums, social media, and what your neighbours tell you they heard, confusion remains. The law, when you take it as a whole, is a lot like a head cheese that can only be explained by a special class of personality disorders, which as an explanation is very unhelpful and is therefore nearly exactly like the law itself. To make it simple, just pretend the law is two halves of a circle. This is absolutely not how it is, but it will make you feel better to pretend. One half is civil law. That's the private law about how people with money get private justice from other people with less money. The other half is criminal law. That's where the state gets justice mostly from people without any money. There are certain crimes that are so outrageous, offensive, and contravene the standards of society that they are subjected to special laws. Offenders of these laws are subject to a special judicial process, where instead of trial by jury or by judge, they are subject to judgment by society. These crimes being so outrageous, a lower standard of proof is applied, and requires only a percentage of society to find them guilty. Each year the percentage necessary for conviction is decreased in accordance with the available technologies to measure society's outrage. Those found guilty of these special classes of crimes are stripped of many of their basic rights and are identified as public figures. The punishment for such crimes includes monitoring, regular interviews, and broadcasts on various media. The most outrageous offenders are listed on all media so that the public can be aware of exactly what they're doing, when they are doing it, who they are doing it with, where they are doing it, and what products they're using. In this way, the public can avoid accidental contact with these public personalities and reduce the risk of putting themselves or their families and loved ones in harm's way. This is, by and large, a highly effective form of non-capital punishment for these offenders. Most will, in a matter of days, if not months, learn the error of their ways and be granted a release from their public monitoring. But there are some serial offenders so outrageous, so depraved that their behaviour moves them onto another special criminal class. These are known as political candidates. They're forced to register with the municipalities that they're in, and as a part of a system of law so ancient that it dates back to prior to the founding of Rome, they're obliged to compete in violent contests with other serial offenders. The winners are allowed to keep money given to them during these contests. The losers are forced to serve a sentence of public service at a municipal, state, or federal level. The level of service being proportionate to the outrageousness and depravity of their criminal conduct. Repeat offenders are subject to additional sentences. Some countries, in recognition of human rights, have set limits on these sentences as life sentences and have been deemed cruel and unusual punishment for those who are constitutionally recidivists. Without this fairly fundamental understanding of the law, you might operate under the mistaken notion that the media is populated by self-promoting, self-serving, amoral vermin, whose every episode of bodily function is indiscriminately rebroadcast around the clock on every form of media. You might also suffer from extreme distress, associated with the misapprehension that a largely lazy and uncritical class of journalists is aiding and abetting an ever-declining quality of political representative, to engage in ever greater abuses of office and the public. This is not the case. You can sleep soundly in knowing that our legal system is alive and well and producing exactly the just results it was designed to. We apologise for any stress this confusion may have caused you.